So why don't you just talk a little bit about your shoulder injury, okay? And then we're going to go through with him. We're going to show you there's 4 main exercises that we use to fix people. And if you've been following us on YouTube, you're seeing these videos. But today we're going to really concentrate on 2. And we're going to really show you how to correct someone's posture, and especially what we're trying to do with him. But why don't you just go in and just talk briefly just about your shoulder injury and what you've been through with the process.
So ultimately I always tried to stay active, going to the gym 5 times a week. And ultimately when I started to get to high numbers in benching, I just always felt constant pain.
What were you benching, like 315?
Yeah, I was benching like 315 and always heavy, and I was always just feeling like pain over here, and I just knew something wasn't right. I went to about 3 different specialists and everything for about 4 different years until finally I stumbled across Zach on YouTube and finally able to see some results. And
so the pain is significantly less.
Actually, I would even argue right now that there isn't any pain.
And you've been coming now consistently for about 5 weeks?
Yes.
Let's go in and we're going to talk about the first exercise that we're going to show you today, okay? And we're going to talk about how this applies to the lat pull, doing rows, and just your general posture. So we're going to start with this one. This is called the single arm front row. It's going to look very simple, but we're going to show you the different levels to it. So if you could go right over here, just go directly to his side. Okay, so he's going to come here. We're just going to put on 15 pounds, not much, but we need to get right directly adjacent to the shoulder right there. Okay?
Okay.
So now he's going to come back. Go ahead. So his elbow, okay, we don't want to cross, when we're first learning this, we don't want to cross the center line of the hip here, okay? And if we look here, he's going to then depress the shoulder down. And when it's depressed down, then he's going to try to now roll it back as far as he can with it depressed down. That's his max. He can't roll it back anymore. And if you notice, look at the shoulder. It's in line with the center line of his ear. That's his true max on this exercise. His back's arched. Okay, he's engaging his thoracic spine, and the main focus on this, if you come around here, babe, and just keep holding it, you're good, it's lightweight. The main focus, if you just come right around here, the main focus is his Teres major here, which is very underdeveloped, and he's also going to be getting the lower part of the rear delt here, and he will be getting into the lat, but this is what he's concentrating on when he's doing this, when he's really depressing the shoulder down. And if we looked at him, there's basically, there's no muscle here. It's just skin, okay? So this is kind of the first part of this. Now I'm going to show you the higher levels when I'm doing it, just so you guys can understand. If we're looking at this from the side here, my shoulder's depressed down, elbows in line with the center, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to draw that shoulder. You see how it goes back now? And look, it's instead of being in the center of my ear now, it lines with the back of my ear. So what we want to do here is, here's his elbow, here's the center line of his head. Right now, if he goes past that point, okay, the shoulder's going to jack up, it's going to roll forward. So we need to keep it here, and then from there, he's going to depress the shoulder down. That's his start point. If you notice, his ear's in line with the center of the shoulder. He gets better at this. He's trying to take this shoulder, if you go directly in line with the shoulder, he's trying to take this shoulder here, the front of it, and move it all the way back to here so it's in line with the ear, but he has to be able to stay down. It's physically impossible for him to do that. Okay, and that's what we're trying to do with the elbow right in the center. Then the third level and the final level is being able to take this back here and still keep the shoulder down. As you get deeper and deeper and you can depress the shoulder down, when I'm depressing the shoulder down, what am I doing to the scaps? The scaps are depressing down. So guess what? This is going to get into your lower traps, and as it starts going back farther and farther, it's going to get into your rhomboids. This, to me, is the best way to train to get your posture to actually roll back into position. Rather than being like this, it's like this. Tell them about just what you went through with lower traps and how much BS it was.
So, ironically enough, I went through like 3 specialists, and all the kid was massaging me, and I Zoom called Zach, and he was like, do me a favor, Nick. After I explained to him what problems are, he was like, take off your shirt. And then I did, and I learned, he goes, yeah, that's your problem right there. And I was like, that's so crazy, because here I am thinking I'm this cool guy in the gym putting up all this weight, yet there was this small muscle here that was non-existent. And now, since we've just been honestly just activating it, I feel a tremendous difference in just how I'm working out, where I'm feeling things. Like when I do a lat pull down, actually for the first time I'm feeling it in the lat. When I do a chest press, I'm actually feeling it in the chest.
So let's show now what it feels like to do a lat pull. But just so you guys understand, like you physically cannot get, I know this is like the lower trap exercise, like the W's. It's physically impossible for him to even activate the lower traps. His shoulders like this. How are you able to roll them back and down in order to get in your lower traps? And again, I don't think it's that valuable in an exercise, because if you get really good at this, your lower traps are going to get extremely developed. So that's why, to me, working on lower traps, you could do it, but it's not that valuable. It's not going to change the posture.
Yeah, every physical therapist said to me, just do lower traps, and I could never like feel it properly, and it was doing absolutely nothing.
He can't get his shoulders back far enough in this position here and down to actually get into the lower traps. That's my whole point. All right, so let's show the lat pull, or let's show the under grip lat pull. Right. And if we show it right from the side, babe, right over here. Yeah, just come right here. And now we're gonna, he knows from this exercise, he knows where to put his shoulder in position. If he tries to go pull down too far, it's gonna roll forward. So we're gonna show you where he's supposed to be.
All right, so first and then just go.
Yeah, now push the shoulders down. Yeah, so if he goes any lower than that, go ahead lower. Look what happens. It starts rounding. Good. Touch your chest. Touch your chest. Look, it starts rounding forward, and now it's starting to shrug up. So if he's going to do this and attack this, in order for him to get into his lats and teres and affect his posture, go ahead. Push down right to there. Don't move. That's how low he has to go, and now he's in the same position that he was with the front row. That's why the front row is our foundation for fixing the shoulder, but also growing your back, because now he's actually in the proper position to grow his back. Feel that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do lat pull and show him that. Same technique, let's show what happens when he does lat pull. And again, he couldn't even do this 4 weeks ago. This is like, now he can actually, right? You couldn't even activate your lats.
Yeah, now I can actually feel it. All right. So he's
down. So if he comes too low, right about there, that's his zone. Now start coming down, touch your chest like everyone does. He physically, then this starts rolling up and he starts getting his traps. Yeah. Why is he going to there? He's not focused on the problem area. Right there, that's his problem. Now he pushes down from there, he rolls it back where he can, and that's good. This took me a while. Like I had my right shoulder was so messed up from tennis. It literally looked like this. I had no development in the teres major. My infraspinatus, rotator cuff, rear delt on this side, it literally looked like this. Now, relax his back. So if we go here like this, so here's a lat pull here, boom, boom, boom. Look what I can do with my shoulders. I don't want to go any lower than that. That's perfect. But look at how they're not like this. So he had to go here in order to keep his shoulders down and back. I have to go here, and now I can really squeeze into my teres major and my lats. I feel my lower back working. My lower traps are working. Everything's getting turned on. Turned down, but notice how his trap isn't lifting up. He's staying pushed down.
I've actually had 2 surgeries. I've had a surgery on each shoulder for rotator cuff and bicep tendon rupture, and I had some off and on pain, and it never felt like it was healed up as quite as good as I thought it would, and the pain's pretty well gone now. I mean, I try to be careful at work so I don't re-injure it.
That's why he struggles so much with this exercise when he's back here, because he hasn't passed the different levels of this test here. And we'll show you the different levels. Okay, so we're here. The arm's nice and straight. He's gonna come, if this is his waistline here, he's gonna come 5 or 6 inches up from here. Because look, that's where he can push your shoulder down. That's where he can keep his shoulder down. If I move it up here, what happens to the trap? See how the trap lifts up? So he's got to stay, look at out here, where the trap stays down, and then his movement's going to be very small, where he can keep that trap and that shoulder in position right there. So just where he's at. But look at the shoulders. Don't let it move. Yes, keep it in that position. Keep it in that position. And you feel it all right in the, and all he does is feel it in the back of the shoulder right here. Okay, rest. So let me show you the different levels here so you guys can see here. So if we look at the belt about a fist down, this is where most people start. Wrist pull back, and we just have to go here in order for them to keep this trap down. If they go up any higher, trap lifts. Then they end up like this. The next level then is if I can keep my knuckles in line with my belt line and look at my trap, it stays down. So this is the next level. Look at the motion, it's short. I'm not going like this. Woo! I'm staying on this muscle the whole time, right on the rear delt. I feel it engaged the whole time. Then the last level is I'm going to step over. And this is when you're ready to really go back and use that machine back there that we showed you. He's actually not, he can do it, but he's not really ready. He's got to be able to get to this level, because then now he can keep his shoulder up in that position. And now I'm just going to be, here's my belly button. I'm going to be around my belly button level, and I'm going to be almost all the way turned down. I'm just going to open up a little bit. But you see how I'm just a little bit above that belly button line, or right on that belly button line. And then I can nail it. But look at how low it is below my shoulder. That's why when he goes over there, you got to position him down here so he can stay down with his shoulders. If it goes up too high, he's here. That's why you have to master here before you can use the Pec Deck. Now, the biggest thing with this machine is, if you have one of these machines, number one is you're not going to be able to come, if you do it correctly, you're not going to be able to come that far back. You're going to see it because your shoulders are going to lift. Two is, you have to raise the seat up high enough so that, go ahead and just don't worry about the technique, just pull back. Yeah. So the hand is going to be below the shoulder. Most of the time with these machines, the hand ends up being here, and then all you just do is work on your upper trap and your mid trap, and it's very much harder to get in your delt if they're underdeveloped. If the rear delt's developed, you can do all these different bodybuilding movements, and your rear delt's going to develop with your mid trap and your upper trap. But for him, we're trying to get his shoulders to lock down. So you have to raise the seat up or put something on the seat so that it's high enough so that it's below, so it's kind of below your shoulder. All right. So now, Nick, go to where I've taught you to go to based on your shoulder, and then we're gonna show this.
So it's been like literally.
Yeah, you arch back, go a little farther. He physically, that's as far, look at how frontal he is, and that's okay. But he physically cannot go back any farther than that. If he does, go ahead, go back farther. Look at the trap, bam, lifts right up. Yeah, now he's getting into the trap instead of the rear delt, so go ahead. We want to get this part, right in the back cap. We only want him to feel it here. If he feels it up here, no good. So for him, that's where he can keep it down. Go ahead, push your scaps down, right there. That's his start point, and forward, and back. So now we're getting a rear delt. The rear delt, what is it? It's an external rotator. He has got no rear delt, so the shoulder's going to want to lay forward. This one helps to pull it back, and this one here, the front row, and then this one here helps the rear delt, part of the rotator cuff, to rotate the hubris head back even more. So these two positions are key. Go ahead and move with it now, forward. And then I'm going to show you me and show you what the end goal is. Yeah, that's about his max. See how the shoulders stay down at that point? Yep, he's done. All right, so let me show you me from this angle here. We'll show you some from behind, but let's just take a look at this so you guys can see. So we're here like this. And I actually drop the seat down, and I come out a little higher because I can keep my shoulders down. But if we're right here, my shoulders are down. Look, look, look. They're down the whole time. They're down. So Nick was here. He can't even get him to roll back because he hasn't mastered that front row yet to be able to pull it back here. Once he masters that front row, like we showed you over there, and he can get into that position, then this is going to improve. So that's why that front row is so key. Look, I'm back. I can keep my shoulders down. I'm not doing this. This is what everyone does. Oh, great. Oh, I'm at the gym. I'm working my rear delt. No, you're not. You're not working anything. You're working your upper traps. Down. So maybe you only can come to here. Down. Again, the hands have to stay below the shoulder. You go on this machine, and it's too high up, and you're here. But here, look, I can keep my shoulders down. So now I can get in my mid traps and my rear delt. Everyone else, oh, look, I'm doing rear delt. I'm doing rear delt. Oh, terrible. You get nothing.
I don't even know how I used to work out before, because the shoulder is so important and engaging the back with the chest. Even now when I do biceps, I actually feel it in my biceps. I used to be so over here, I used to feel it in my front delt.
And you got to understand too is that there are two other, we just showed you two exercises in detail. So I didn't want to bore you with too much stuff. But there are two other exercises that we use. And we'll put a link at the end of the video so you can see some other clients doing all four of the exercises.